I've been a fan of Ryan Coogler's movies since I saw Creed in the cinema at age 14 and got so hyped that I almost stood up and cheered. His first film, Fruitvale Station, is very well done and emotional. Black Panther was one of the most engaging MCU movies and became a cultural event. Black Panther 2... yeah, it was alright. But when I heard he was making an original horror action movie, a period piece with vampires, starring Michael B. Jordan ×2, it immediately became my most anticipated movie of the year. I didn't get the chance to review it when it came out, so now that the dust has settled a bit, and before it's probably nominated for all the Oscars, I want to talk about Sinners, what it did so well, and also some things that I think hold it back from being an actual modern masterpiece. Yes, I will be criticizing Sinners here, be warned. Spoilers ahead. Let's get into it. Actually, real quick, before we get into it, just want to let you all know that I've brought back my podcast, The Poorly Planned Podcast, where my friend and I talk about movies and TV shows, a bunch of nonsense. It's on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. Here's a link. There's a link down below. Check it out. We have some fun. Alright, now, on to the video. First and foremost, what I think I loved most about Sinners, which is very apparent in the first half especially, is that it feels like a real, original movie. You know how you'll watch a movie from the 70s or the 80s and be like, damn, people really just got movies like this week in and week out and didn't really think much of it, whereas now you're lucky if the movie you're watching doesn't feel like it was made by AI or doesn't give you a migraine. Off the bat, this has the feel of a film with a purpose and a voice behind it, and that first half is just really excellent. I love the atmosphere the movie's able to create. Between the visuals and that amazing music, both the score and the music performed by the characters, you are immediately transported to 1930s Mississippi, and the whole movie has this hot southern summer vibe to it. Like, it just feels sweaty, which is not something that would normally be a compliment to a film, but here it is. And on the visuals, the movie looks beautiful. I'll be honest, I don't have as firm a grasp on this aspect ratio stuff as I'd like to. I watched your video, Mr. Coogler, and I'm still a bit lost. But I can tell you it looks unreal both in that 70mm form and that ultra widescreen form. And it being shot on film pays off and contributes to that real feeling, where you can tell it's not shot on a green screen, or a volume, or inside of a computer, or whatever. It feels tangible. Then we get onto the performances, with Michael B. Jordan leading the film in dual roles, which I feel like we should give more props to. I remember when Legend came out and everyone was like, can you believe Tom Hardy is playing two characters in the same movie? Now we've seen it quite a few times, so it's not that deep, but the technical process that goes into making that seamless, and the acting ability to make two identical characters feel distinct from one another, and the ability to act against a performance that isn't actually there in the moment, should all really be commended. And this is easily Michael B. Jordan's best work since Fruitvale Station. I love Michael B. Jordan, but he does have a thing where occasionally the way he reads certain dramatic lines can be a little bit corny. And no, I'm not trying to recreate what your bullies used to tell you, Mr. Jordan. Please don't give me this look if I ever meet you. But you know, in the Creed and Black Panther movies, there are a couple times where he hits a line in a slightly goofy way. Generally great though, but here he's just excellent throughout. And I would not be mad at all seeing him pick up some nominations for this film. Everyone else is great as well. Hailee Steinfeld drops some great out-of-pocket lines. Omar Benson Miller and Delroy Lindo are funny. But the two other standouts are probably Wunmi Mosaku and Miles Caton. Mosaku mainly in the first half. Again, we'll get to it. And Jack O'Connell kills it as the head vampire, both performance-wise, where I can see him channeling the wolf from Puss in Boots 2, and song-wise. I know it's being sung in the context of vampires gathering to steal your soul or whatever, but also high-key, that is a tune. Now, I've touched on this first half thing a couple times, and so I think it might be time for me to talk about my criticisms, because they almost entirely revolve around the second half. Essentially, my main problem with the film is that, ironically, as it gets more crazy, it becomes a less interesting movie. Now, this was a bigger problem on my first viewing. On my second viewing, it didn't bother me as much, and I appreciated that there's still a lot to get out of that second half, but it is noticeably weaker. Now, to be clear, I have no problem with there being the sharp left turn into a vampire movie. Very Dusk Till Dawn-esque. I'm cool with that. And as vampire stuff goes, it's well done, it's stylistically fun. There's some great moments where the movie really indulges in becoming a bit of a corny, old-school horror movie, especially with those great dramatic musical stings. My problem is, the version of a vampire movie the film gets to is a pretty solid vampire movie, while the drama the film was building was an amazing drama. I'm thinking specifically in the first half of the scene in town with Smoke and the scenes of Stack recruiting people. It manages to be pretty perfect filmmaking. It sets up the vibe and atmosphere while expositing what you need to know about the characters without it ever feeling in your face or taking you out of it, while being both thought-provoking and funny throughout. It's super entertaining and doing all the legwork a film has to do in its build-up. It's just great writing and filmmaking. Then when the vampires show up, the movie, without becoming terrible, does trade in that perfectly crafted mix for more cliches and nonsensical moments than you'd expect. In terms of cliches, it does start to hit all the beats you have come to expect from a horror movie like this, particularly from the zombie genre. You have someone amongst the crowd who they don't know is a monster, there's someone you know who becomes a monster and you have to reckon with the fact that they're not the person you knew, there's the scene where they have to figure out if someone else has been bitten, there's a lot of just sort of cliche jump scares that you can see coming from a mile away. Again, none of these things are awful or movie-breaking. They're just not what I was expecting or hoping for from a film that was set up so meticulously. And on nonsensical moments that take you out of it a bit, allow me to do a little nitpicking here, I will justify it at the end. Why does the Hailee Steinfeld vampire run out of the juke joint? They spend the whole goddamn movie trying to get back into the juke joint. She's there already. She's got them all confused. She gets shot 100 times and it doesn't affect her. Why on earth would you not just stay in there and take out a few more of them? Or hold one of them hostage and make them invite the other vampires in, or something. Grace screaming for all the vampires to come in. Technically not nonsensical. I mean, she's distressed and whatnot, but certainly forced. Certainly feels like we need to get the vampires into the building, so we're just gonna have someone be so upset they do the thing they're not supposed to do. It's a bit of a stretch. I don't know. Again, I've talked about this before. If a dumber movie has dumb moments, you don't really mind or bother cinema sensing it, because, you know, who cares? But when a really great movie has dumb moments where the writing is a bit cliche or a bit lazy, it does stand out more, and it's a little more annoying. And my last complaint on that second half, and this one I think is kind of the biggest shame, some of the most interesting characters from the first half become kind of one-dimensional versions of themselves. Like, the lead vampire gets more development, and that's cool. The whole Irish aspect of his character is interesting, and how that ties into colonization and the taking of cultures. There's elements to him that are sympathetic, but then he's also perpetuating this cultural stealing cycle. There's some pretty fascinating stuff here, but then a character like Annie goes from an interesting character, a grieving mother who dabbles in the supernatural, who has a complicated relationship with smoke, to just kind of an exposition dumper, who gives you what you need to know about vampires and how to defeat them and just spews info. And the Delroy Lindo character goes from a really funny guy, but who also has some heart to him and a compelling backstory that speaks to the film's larger themes of black music and art and how it's silenced or stolen and all this, to just the comic relief. Just the guy who does sort of hacky, I shit my pants, I'm drunk, I'm gonna throw up type jokes. Like, I think that was the biggest annoyance to me. The film sets up these characters so well in the first half, and then doesn't really do them all justice in the second, as it becomes more of a genre movie. We do get more on the Smokestack twins, I like that, and Sammy's well developed, but yeah, a lot of the side characters didn't love the direction their characters went. That all being said, these things take this movie from being 5 stars to being 4 stars for me. It doesn't make it a bad movie by any stretch of the imagination. I know I complained a lot here, but that is not proportional to how much the movie I didn't enjoy. I just wanted to explain myself thoroughly. That second half is still very entertaining and stylistically awesome. It's just like it's from a somewhat less well-written movie, is all. But all in all, I still love the cinematography, the music, the atmosphere, the ideas about music and art, specifically in black culture in the Jim Crow South. And yes, a lot of the action is still really cool as well. And as I started this video by saying, above all, seeing an original movie be this good and do this well in 2025 is hugely promising. And the fact that it's R-rated too, it's violent, it's a bit steamy, and it still did so well. Super promising. We need more directors like Ryan Coogler, who can tell original stories in an artistically awesome way that also captivates mainstream audiences. Even if you didn't love Sinners, or like me, had some problems with it, this is 100% the antidote to the corporate AI-feeling slop that a lot of film has become. And I think this year, despite us getting a lot of that, we've seen some progress made. So hey, that's something else great to come out of this. So Sinners, thumbs up, thoroughly enjoyed it. So those are my thoughts on Sinners. What did you think of it? Let me know down below in the comments. While you're at it, be sure to like this video, check out my movie podcast, The Poorly Planned Podcast, on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Check out my Instagram, BHL_Hudson, my letterboxd at RealBHLHudson, and subscribe for more videos like the one you just watched. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.